After putting it off for a very long time, even after all my friends kept recommending it to me, and I kept seeing it appear in the media, and it kept taunting me on Steam all the time, I finally decided to go ahead and try out Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky, and I'm kind of glad I did, because it's really a good game that hits nostalgia in the feels. It really does a great job of hitting the nail on the head. The game is not technically new. It probably utilizes most technology. It still dates back to the 90s. And in a way, maybe that's what they wanted, because that's what this game really does well. If we were stuck in the 90s still, let's say, and we were getting a lot of these, what I consider to be great JRPGs on console during the 90s. That's what I grew up on. I'm a little biased with that. I grew up playing RPGs all the time, and I loved them. I loved the immersion, the story, and they were robust stories, and lots of world building and detail. And that's, I think, what Trails in the Sky does. I think this series still, at least from the first game, now that I've dug into it a little bit, I think that's what it does well. And it really kind of has that great balance, great pacing. It has it all, but I think it also does something new. So I kind of imagine it as being a game that probably normally would have been released back in the 90s, yet still doing its own new thing. But somebody decided to, in 2016, well, I'm not quite sure exactly when it was released, I have to check the date again, but, somebody decided in, long after 2000 to go ahead and do another one, and I'm glad they did, because I've tried lots of RPGs on console, even some from beloved franchises that I really liked, but ones that tried to update in both graphics and storytelling and mechanics and everything. There's great games like the Tales series. Those have some pretty good games, like Tales of Xillia. I really liked it, but I couldn't get sucked into it. And there's even tactics side with things like Mugen Souls that really harken back to early Disgaea and games like that. But Trails in the Sky, I don't know. It's sort of like taking that stock but standard and very solid storytelling method from the 90s and just saying, hey, we're gonna stick with it. We're gonna do what the greats did in the 90s, but we'll tell our own story, and maybe we'll make our game and games even bigger, and our world even bigger. And that's all that was needed for them to do, I think. So, yeah, now, I am being rather boastful, having, early experience with it, but I'm really taken aback by Trails in the Sky. It's really good, and I went through about 3 hours in the blink of an eye. I haven't done that with a game. I don't think I've done that with a game in many, many, many years, not an RPG. So I feel pretty good about it. So I felt like going ahead and being boastful. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say about it, and I highly recommend it. I think it's a great game, so you should check it out if you haven't already. Of course, if you don't like RPGs at all, you probably just not care. In any case, then you can ignore me.